Yo, world. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight to the Boxing Council podcast. We got a special guest in the building. But before we get to our special guest, I'm going to go around the room. We're going to introduce our panel. I'm going to start over here with you, big guy.
My name is Mark.
KJ.
My man, KJ. And then we got a special guest in the building. Special guest, former super middleweight, former super light heavyweight. My apologies. Mr. Montell Griffin, what's up, brother? How you doing,
good,
man?
Everything good, man.
How you been, man?
I'm good, man. Everything good, man. Just trying to take it day by day.
Day by day. What you got going on for yourself, man? Post boxing, man.
I got a boxing gym in Pilsen. Clarence Griffin Windy City Boxing Club is at 2150 South Canal Port. We doing, a lot of good things. We have youth programs and different things. And we got a boxer, Jermaine Howlett, who's coming up.
Nice.
And he's, I think he's 6-0.
Nice.
And he's fighting in June. So we trying to, just make some moves and go forward.
Nice. That's what's up, man. And how?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, that's nice, man. That, we have, a homegrown, fighter.
Yeah. He I've become a kid, a real nice kid. I like him a lot. And like I said, he's rolling, doing, pretty good right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Now you mentioned the youth and helping those guys out. How's it been helping those guys out? I know, coming from Chicago and a lot of situations with a lot of young men growing up, or just say young women in certain situations. I know if you ran into a few cases with mentoring those guys. So how's that been with the youth? I know we need more of that here, man.
The kids love the class. The classes is probably the biggest thing in the gym. The youth classes and adult classes are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30, and from 6:30 to 7:30. And on Saturdays and Sundays, you can take the class with your kids. So it's together on Saturdays and Sundays. So it's pretty cool with the parents and the kids is in the class together.
Nice. Now is that open for anyone to kind of sign up to?
Yeah. Everybody just come in.
Everybody
just come in and sign up. We got a lot of room for everybody.
Nice, man. That's what's up, man. It's nice to be, on the mic with someone who was born in Chicago. It's we get few here who, when you look at like different cities and where a lot of these guys from, whether they're like they play in the NBA or NFL or box or dance, whatever. It's a few that we have here. So we do appreciate you, man, being born here and everything that you did coming up in boxing, man. We definitely appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, it's cool. I appreciate that. I wanted to just be the best man I could be, the best fighter I could be out of Chicago. You didn't hear no negative stuff about me. I wasn't in the news doing, I was a upstanding citizen just trying to take care of my business.
Yeah, and just a little backdrop from speaking earlier, you mentioned that, your father really didn't know too much about boxing, and he got your brother into it, if I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah, he ended up taking my brother to the gym to learn self-defense, fell in love with it, got close with Johnny Coulon, who was the former bantamweight champ. He became his understudy, and then just took over the gym. So I want to say like 73.
Gotcha.
So from 73, 83, my father ran the gym until he passed away.
Gotcha. So you was tagging along, just seeing what's going on.
Yeah, it was a crazy life, man. Just traveling and meeting guys and seeing fighters and everything. It was just I had an awesome life as a kid. You know what I'm saying? I met Muhammad Ali at 5 years old, and that probably changed my whole life to where I am today.
Nice. Give us that story when you met Muhammad Ali. I kind of heard that was your hero.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, my father had the 9mm projector, and he even got to the point where he let me out. He let me run it by myself. I used to watch fights by myself, and because I was responsible. I took care of everything, and but I watched Joe Louis was his favorite fighter. Ray Robinson. I watched Willie Pep, Jersey Joe Walcott, all the type guys, all the guys who was in the 20s, 30s, up and down. That's who my father had, and Ray Robinson and everything. And then one day, this had to be ABC or something. I was watching Wide Water Sports, and I saw Muhammad Ali. And it just changed my life. It just instantly, I fell in love with. I was just attracted to him. you know what I'm saying, I'm seeing a guy who he don't look like other
Yeah.
other normal people. You know, he look, you know, handsome guy, personality. He had it all, and it just attracted me to him. And one day my father said, "Remember that guy you like?
Yeah.
We going to see him." I'm like, "For real?"
Nice.
You know, so I'm like, I was 5 years old. I didn't know what to believe. I didn't think I was going to see him though. But when we walked in, Ali had a garage on 47th Street where he kept his cars, and he had a boxing ring in there. We walked in. The first thing I noticed was a line of people. They was in line, like so I see the people in line, so I go to the front of the line, and Ali was handing everybody money, like one by one, boom, 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 boom. And he saw me and told me to come here, picked me up, gave me a kiss and everything. My father took a picture, and that was the day I knew what I wanted to do in my life.
You still got to have that picture.
Yeah, I still got
Nice.
it. Yeah, I still got
That's
it.
dope.
Yeah.
Man, that's dope to just hear that story and kind of
Yeah.
inspire you to just
it
at
just
that moment, man.
and just being around, like I've been over his house 1,000 times. He came to my gym, my father's gym and train. I went out to the lake 5 times, and just spending time. It was just the greatest, just the greatest thing I could say in my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Accomplishment, or
You know,
just
the GOAT, you know? Man, the GOAT.
just being around him, man. It was awesome, man. It was
Nice.
awesome, man.
So after that moment, like meeting Muhammad, and you knew that's what you wanted to do. It was made up. What was the next steps or the process after that? Like, how did you go about things to get started? Was he a part
I was
of
in the
that,
gym
or
every day.
he was in the
I was in the
every day?
gym
Okay.
every day.
He was
So
working
I
every
actually
day.
I trained 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I trained in the morning with the first crew. I trained with the second crew, and I trained with the third crew. And I was just a gym rat, and I'm watching Ali. Like when I was in the ring, shadow boxing and doing the thing, I thought I was Muhammad Ali. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't tell me I wasn't doing the same thing he was doing. But when I look at the videos now, I just crack up laughing because I was a kid. But yeah, I'm gonna give you an example.
Okay.
1992, I made the Olympic team. I came out of nowhere, so I didn't really want to cause no problems, and I stayed out the way. I kept to myself. But me and Chris Berg got kind of cool. And I say, bro, you know I used to be with Ali. And I showed him my pictures, and he couldn't believe it. Like, man, he like, bro, he said, man, this won you 20 fights.
Wow.
And at the time, I'm like, what you talking about? You know, I was laughing, like, man,
Yeah.
you crazy. What you talking about? But now as I got older, and me understanding how I carried myself, my confidence, just everything, it came from Muhammad Ali. So
Yeah.
there was just a great achievement in my life, man. You know what I'm saying?
But don't open up the door.
You know what I'm saying? He knew me he called me by my name. You know what I'm saying? He would come get me, and just me and him would watch a movie. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. He treated me like a nephew, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Just
Wow.
he offered to buy me a BB gun in Deer Lake because of the rabbits and all types of stuff. My father told him no. He offered to buy me a go kart just for me to have fun. Father said no. And I just asked my pops. He actually offered my father like a used Rolls Royce when he got his new Stutz Bearcat. And my father told him no. And I said, why you keep telling him no all the time? He said, man, because I don't want that man thinking I'm taking advantage of him.
Right.
So
Okay.
from then on
Yeah.
out, I understood, and I left it alone. And, everywhere we was at, Ali would tell me to ride with him.
Yeah.
So I look at my father, said, go ahead. And then one day, I'm like, why you always tell me to go with him? He said, bro, you just don't even understand what you're doing right now.
Right,
He
right.
said, when you get older, you understand. Like, just remember these days. And when
Wow.
I got older, I understood it.
Yeah. Like
I got a
that's
question
got to
for
be
you.
amazing. Oh, go ahead, bro.
If there was one thing from a technique perspective that you use from Muhammad Ali during your career, what would that be? What would be that?
I mean, even though I didn't have his legs, you know what I'm saying? When I was, I tried to move around, use his legs. Like Ali, was just a different type of guy. Ali had probably the worst habits in boxing history. So like a lot of people couldn't get away. There was so many people who tried to fight like Ali, but they couldn't do it because, like I said, he did so much stuff that was wrong. So I never really just tried to copy everything. I just copied the stuff that I felt was right.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? That'll help me out.
And that's amazing that you say that you can be like that gifted, especially in the sport of boxing, and to say that you had a lot of bad habits, but still was that great.
Yeah, he had the worst habits. His left hook, he slapped. He didn't, he did so much stuff. But like me and Roy Jones was talking one day. I said, bro, man, you and Muhammad Ali are probably the most God-gifted fighters I've ever seen in my life. I said, who the best? And he said, Ali. I said, nah, be honest. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Why you say Ali? He said, Muhammad Ali didn't throw body punches. He said,
no, he didn't.
So he said, so I think he did more with less. So I think he's the greatest fighter ever. Or just not the greatest fighter ever. I was just talking about the talented, most God-given talent. And he said that's why he said why he picked Muhammad Ali.
Nice. Now definitely them two guys, man. When you say God-gifted,
yeah, Cassius Clay, man. Just we ain't never seen. This is the '60s.
Yeah,
we never seen this.
So
before.
what about Sugar Ray Leonard?
Sugar Ray Leonard,
you got to put him in there too.
Sugar Ray Leonard, he's not as skilled as Roy Jones Jr.
You don't think so?
Nah. Roy Jones Jr. is just on a whole nother level. But Ray was the man. He was the assassin.
Yeah.
He was an assassin. But Roy Jones was more gifted as far as talent wise.
You differ?
I beg to differ on that one.
Ray Leonard was the man. I'm saying, but we talking about Roy Jones at one point when he was. They say he was the greatest fighter ever. In 1997, when I fought Roy Jones, they say he was the greatest fighter ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference between him and Ray Leonard.
Mm. How would you put it?
But it's nothing disrespectful. I'm just saying, Roy when he was at his best at the top, he was the most God-gifted fighter ever. Speed, power, everything.
Where would you put Mayweather in there?
Floyd is skilled in a different type of way, as far as his defense, right. As far as his movement. He just I don't want to say talented, but he was more. Roy Jones was a guy who got over with a lot of his athletic ability. And when he started slowing down, you seen that he changed. Right. Or he wasn't as dominant. Right. Floyd Mayweather was technically sound. So he didn't have no bad habits. So when he turned 40, he could still do the same thing. When Roy's lost his athletic ability, his career suffered.
Yeah, and
you understand what I'm saying?
No, I know. Clear.
Just getting caught with shots, and just like the punch that Tarver hit him with. Right. He wouldn't get hit with shots like that. He just started slowing down. The worst thing he ever did, we talked about it, was going up to heavyweight and going back down. Yeah. He was 36, 37 years old. He put on 197 pounds. Right. Came back down and back down to 175, and he just shocked his body. Right. And he wasn't ever the same after that.
So what about the late great George Foreman? Where you put him in?
George Foreman is probably one of the most underrated fighters ever because people don't, even though he lost to Muhammad Ali, but he dominated the two fighters that beat Muhammad Ali. But he also he won and lost his title 20 years apart. Mm-hmm. He lost his title in 1974. 1994, he came back 20 years later and won his title again. We'll never see that ever again in history. Because first of all, the guy's making too much money. They don't need to come back 20 years later. But we will never see it in history. You know what I'm saying? Because he changed. He learned from Muhammad Ali, trying to load up and tying himself out, and he got beat, and he got smart. Like the old George Foreman to me is better than young George Foreman because he was smarter. Mm-hmm. He was smarter. He was able to go the distance. He changed things around. He reinvented himself.
Yeah, nice. And by the way, we'll pay homage to the great George. He passed away last week or so.
Yeah, last week. Yeah,
one of the greatest we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like you said, just like the man had two careers.
Yeah.
I hate to shake his hand. It just seemed like he was that strong. Great career, fought great fights, man. Held his own and was feared, man.
Yeah, I was
great
at the
guy.
fight. I was at the fight when he beat Michael Moore. That was the first time I had ever bet in Las Vegas, and I saw George at the weigh-in, and I saw some little cuts
Yeah.
on his stomach, even though he was kind of big. I said George in shape. I said he got punching power, so he got a chance. And I just took a chance to bet on him. And he was losing every round of the fight. He just I think Michael Moore got a little too relaxed and comfortable. He was ahead, got comfortable, and got caught. But if you watch the fight, like Michael Moore said, George is lying. But if you watch the fight, you see George Foreman kept throwing on left hooks so he could step this way. Mm-hmm. He stepped this way, he in line with his right hand. So he just kept doing like this, just kept doing like that. And Michael, I'm winning. Things are good. He ain't hitting me hard. And he fell into the trap, and George got him out of there. One punch, yeah.
Man, I give it up to anybody who ever stepped in that ring, whether it was like, if you made it professionally, if you just did it for the amateurs, or you just did it just like to be in the gym. You know, man, you got to be different to do that, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like I tell everybody, all boxers are crazy. We all crazy. To even one love the violence and you know what I'm saying. We love that. You know what I'm saying. You just got to be everybody ain't built for that.
Yeah,
but you got to be built for that. You got to want to love that, and you know, I never want to, you know what I'm saying, have a habit of getting hit.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know that, you know, so I knew that if I got hit, I'd be able to take it.
Gotcha. So coming up, like, through the amateurs or whatnot, man, he was pretty good, man. And it seemed like through the amateurs and then coming up from there and then going pro, it seemed like you was solid. You fought a lot of good guys, too, man, coming up and held your own.
Yeah, my career, man, is totally different from, I can honestly say, now, my career is totally different from anybody else in boxing history. Yeah. I learned how to box. I boxed from 9 to 12. From 9 to 12 and a half. I might have had about 13, 14 fights. I was in a couple of tournaments. Yeah. But I was in the gym my whole life. But it's a million kids that grew up in the boxing gym and have been in the gym their whole life that didn't make it. So I was in the gym my whole life. That don't mean nothing. But I boxed from 9 to 12. So from 9 to 12 and a half, I had maybe 13, 14 fights, and I quit. Okay. Cold turkey. I quit. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't work out. I didn't do nothing. I ain't watch boxing. My mother was a Jehovah's Witness. Okay. My father died in '83. She didn't want me to box. She made me quit boxing. It was devastating to me. Yeah. This was my life. This is all I knew. And to lose my father and to lose the game, it just killed me. So I just stayed away from it. So I didn't do nothing, and I get a call from my nephew out of nowhere. HBO was doing these fight documentaries where they'd show a big fight and they introduce the trainers. Yeah, and they would talk to them and everything. And I was watching Eddie Futch and this and that and everything, and I started getting into it a little bit, and my nephew just called me out of nowhere, like, man, what you doing? He's like, what you doing, Unc? I'm like, man, I ain't doing nothing. Yeah. I was fat. I lost my job. My car, went down, and he like, man, come to LA and start boxing. And I said, all right. He said, no, I'm for real. I said, no, I'm for real. I think because I answered him so fast. So I just, I got off the phone. My buddy Ron Lee, who lived right behind me, his father was a mechanic. I walked over his house at Mr. Lee, man. I'm trying to do something with my life, man. My car broke down because you bad. I want to go to LA and start boxing. He gave me $500 and I bought a ticket. That's how I ended up in LA.
Nice. Yeah, nice, man.
So I got in LA. When I got to LA, I was 210 pounds. The crazy thing, the day that I landed, my nephew's car had broke down. So he like, man, I've got like 8-9 bags. Yeah. Because I ain't got a dime. I'm moving. It's my whole life. I'm at the airport. The lady like, what you doing all these bags? I said, I ain't gonna lie. I said, I ain't got a dime. I said, same story I told her. I said, man, I'm just trying to do something with my life. I'm trying to go to LA, start boxing. I'm telling the person at the counter. Absolutely. He said, man, go ahead and let me check all my bags on without charging me. So we walking with 8 bags, about a mile away from the airport. We get to the car, and the truck driver, the mechanic, the tow truck driver. The tow truck driver was like, asked my nephew, like, hey, man, who you think gonna win, Tyson or Alex Stewart? Mm-hmm. He was fighting that night. Okay. And he's like, man, ask my uncle, man, he a boxer. And the tow truck driver was like, man, that's crazy. My buddy box. I said, man, can I get his number? He said, man, I can't give his number. You like, give me your number. I'm like, do it look like I got it? You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, I just look at my bag, like, do it look like I got a number? You know what I'm saying? So I ended up giving him my nephew's grandmother's number. And we just was there one day. He called. I talked to him. The man came and picked me up the train. And he one of my best friends to this day. That was 34 years ago. Larry Musgrove came, picked me up, man. He had 2 nephews and a wife and a daughter. And he brought me, he came, he would pick me up, take me to the gym, take me back to his house, hang out with me, and then take me home.
Nice.
Every day. And he didn't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
And this man did that every day. And he beat my ass. He was a super middleweight. He fought for, he beat the number, I think, he beat the number 1 in the world.
Yeah.
I think of the kid's name, but Antoine Bird, T-Bird. And he just was the greatest man that ever came to my life. He picked me up. I'm going to the gym every day, but I don't have no place to live. My nephew was supposed to have a apartment and a job waiting for me. That didn't come through. So I'm, just because I bought a round trip ticket, just if I had to get back home. But one of my best friends told me, like, man, you'll be back.
Yeah.
And I never forget that.
Yeah.
I never forget that. I'm like, I never wanted to make that trip back home.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay. And my mother had a sister in L.A. I hadn't seen her in years. And I called a few times. She didn't answer. And I was over at Larry's house one day, and his wife's like, man, there's a lady on the phone for you. I'm like, who was this? So I'm like, hello? Like, hey, baby, how you doing this pad? And I'm like, man, she was like, what's going on? I said, man, I'm just trying to do something with my life.
Yeah.
She was like, you got a place to stay? When she said that, it just, everything just went off. Ding, 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 like, I'm good. When she said, man, do you need a place to stay? I said, I'm going to stay, and I'm going to make it work. And so Larry Musgrove, my auntie Pat, it was just so many people in my life that helped me make it, and, you know what I'm saying, who was there responsible for me. So it was cool.
And that's dope, man, to even say, had you not picked that phone call up from your nephew, and then at the time you were in mentally, as with your mom and then your pops passing, like, that'd be like divine intervention, man. You get up and I know it was hard, even on that plane, like, why am I doing this, and following your dreams.
It was just
getting back
I was
to
just
it.
The whole time I just didn't know what to expect.
Right.
The
unexpected.
I just rolled. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man. It was like, but one thing I could say, things that was happening is like somebody was helping me out.
Yeah.
I just I made sure I got the car, you know what I'm saying? I got the ticket to get out there. I met Musgrove. He took me to the gym. I got in touch with my auntie. I had a place to live. Then it just started, the ball started rolling, and then everything was running. And I'm in the gym one day in California, and I'm sparring, and I see a big white guy about 6'4", walking in the gym with a little skinny kid. And I'm looking at the kid. I'm like, he a light heavyweight. I knew, in boxing, you know. I'm looking at him, and all boxers nosy. They want to see you coming and walking in the gym, especially see who they can show off in front of.
Right.
Like if it's a girl or whatever.
Might be all athletes.
Right. Yeah. So I see the kid walk in, and I just raise my level. I'm slipping. While I was putting on the show, and I get out the gym, and the white guy walked over to me. He said, man, damn, you can fight, man. He said, man, that's Layman Bruce, man. He from Indianapolis. He came out here. I'm just trying to get him a trainer, man. But man, he said, shit, I want you too.
Yeah.
He said, I'm gonna call Mitchell Stein and see if we can put you on the team.
Nice.
And that was just because he walked in the gym and I picked up my level, and that changed my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So
man.
it was just like things was just working for me, man, and things was just coming up and making sure it was possible. And I was, you know what I'm saying, I was feeling good.
That's what's up, man.
I was feeling good. I was 20 years old
Yeah,
in LA by myself, homesick. But Musgrove had a couple of nephews I hung out with. We'll drink some beer and everything. Musgrove put me over to the side, like, look, little brother, it's okay to smoke a little weed sometime and just chill out and enjoy yourself. So I go over there with, smoke a blunt, drink a 40 ounce of OE or something. And just chill, you know what I'm saying, get away, you know what I'm saying?
8-ball.
OE.
Yeah. So it was LA. And I was 20 years old. It was during the NWA Ice Cube breakup. So I was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was there through all that. Like I was living in LA when Boys in the Hood came out.
Yeah.
I saw that in LA. And it was, filmed in my neighborhood. Like it was just a great ass experience for me, man. It was cool, but as far as the boxing, man, I just dominated, man. You know what I'm saying? I dominated. My first fight, I fought heavyweight.
This your first fight back?
My
from being
first,
off for a
yeah.
while? Okay.
I only trained for like a month and a half.
Okay. That
And-
gifted boy.
Just
Nice.
I was
Love
just
it.
I was on a time frame.
Yeah.
My whole thing was to make the Olympic team.
Yeah.
So I'm in LA. I ain't got that much time, so I'm like, I did fight novice though. I didn't have no fights, but so I had to
Couple
fight
tune-ups
novice.
and-
I broke my thumb my first fight, and so I was waiting for it to heal up, and Reggie Johnson, former middleweight champ, former light heavyweight champ, was like, man, I need you to. I just got the mandatory for the middleweight championship. I want you to spar with me. I'm like, all right, but my thumb was broken. I said, I'm gonna pull this off. So I go to the doctor. They cut my casket off, and told me to go in the room and wait. And I went out and I walked out the door. And I went home and I was at the gym sparring with Red. I needed the money, but I was just lucky that I never hurt myself. But it was kind of crazy because when I left that morning, my mother was like, "Don't BS around. Make sure you get your hand taken care of." I was like, "Yeah, I got you. But I snuck out and left because I needed the money. And
Yeah.
things just happened to work out. So I'm like I said, I'm sparring. I ain't having boxed in 8 years. I sparred one fight. I had one fight, and I was sparring with soon to be the number one middleweight in the world.
Yeah.
That's how the level I was on. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody could do that.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way from 9 to 12 that I learned how to box good enough while I was fighting pros, sparring pros every day.
And see, that's what I speak about a little bit today mentally with a lot of these young guys, man. And that's what we was kind of speaking about with Haney and him and Garcia kind of running back. Mentally, will he be there after that? And not even just saying mentally because of the beating, but like you spoke, you was out of boxing for a minute. Like mentally, you was out of it, and to come back is just like you riding a bike and to get right back at it, break your thumb, and a month later.
But it was like,
Come on, man.
But the thing is, I learned how to box at 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So at 21, I don't remember. So a guy throwing a punch, and I'm slipping it, boom, boom, boom. I'm like,
Yeah.
how the hell I do? You know what I'm saying? I'm telling myself, like, how the hell I do? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It
it
was just
happens.
the journey was so crazy
Yeah.
because I'm learning on the job, but I'm beating everybody. I'm dominating amateur boxing.
Yeah.
I went to the U.S. Championships with 21 amateur fights. I was number one in the nation. I beat John Ruiz, who was number one. I beat him. I beat 4 guys in the top 10.
Yeah.
And I just dominated. I dominated boxing, man. And so the next year, the Golden Gloves was coming up. I'm like, man, I'm running out of time. I said, I can't fight novice again. I need to know how good these guys are.
Yeah.
So I lied. I had 2 fights. I had 2 amateur fights. The first fight, I broke my thumb. Second fight, I broke my nose at heavyweight. Wow. And I finally made it down to light heavyweight. I was like, these boys too big for me. So I went down to light heavyweight, and I had 2 fights. And I lied and said I had 12.
Yeah.
And they let me fight open. And I ended up fighting this guy named Jeremy Williams, who was one of the baddest men in boxing. And I had 7 amateur fights. And I beat him. You know, it's the
Okay.
fight is on YouTube. You go,
Yeah.
I beat him.
Yeah.
But they didn't give it to me. But that's the fight that put me on the map. Like
Yeah.
people was like, "What the hell you like?" What, you know, people was like, "Who is this little dude?" You know, I was short too,
Yeah.
so people was laughing like, "Man, how is he doing this to these people?" So it was just like I said, it was just fun, man, and I just was focused, man. I just had I had a goal. My goal was to make the limit team. I wasn't gonna let nobody stop me.
Yeah.
No.
Nice, man. So, wow, man, that's amazing, man. Just to kind of hear, the backdrop of where you come from,
Yeah, but
especially coming
I'm
from
guaranteed
man.
nobody in boxing history did what I did.
Hey, man, and that's what I'm
Nobody.
talking about. Coming up, and now you starting to get the fights after the amateurs. How does your life kind of change from there?
Well,
kind of getting a little notoriety, feeling good.
When I fought in U.S. Championships, I was on TV.
Okay.
So I had been to L.A. a year. So, right, I got there December 90. I started fighting January 91. And so in 1 year of boxing, I was number one in the nation. And I took that trip back to Chicago, and the TV fight was on TV, and it just changed.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I had a buddy. I used to call him. He worked at this bar. His father was a good guy, but, you know what I'm saying? I'll call, Yeah, all right, whatever. All right, hold on. No respect. You know what I'm
blow you up a little
saying?
bit,
I
yeah.
fought on TV. The next time I call, hey, champ, how you doing? His whole attitude change. I said, I got him. I made that motherfucker respect me.
What
know
you
what I'm
say? You
saying?
wasn't with me shooting in the gym?
Yeah. I said, I made that motherfucker. He respected me. He like, man, what's up, champ? Man, you look good. I'm like, this man ain't never talked to me before. So I'm like, yeah, okay, things are changing. So, and a lot of people, because I couldn't box, I didn't tell nobody I boxed.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just like, man, what the hell you don't know how to box? I'm like, I just ain't want to tell nobody. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed because I couldn't box. So I'm like, why tell people?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just, well, I had a few fights on the street. So when they found out I was about, they was like, nah, it's making sense because I was dominating motherfuckers on the street.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, I'm sure.
it just, it's just, so like I said, when I won the U.S. Championship, people in Chicago changed and seen me and took me serious and started paying attention to me. And then after that, because I ain't had no experience internationally.
Yeah.
So after I won the U.S. Championship, boom, I supposed to went to Florida, but they sent me to Russia.
To Russia?
Yeah, and I fought the world champion, who was number 2 in the world at light heavyweight.
Yeah.
And I beat him in Russia.
Nice.
And I dominated him. And it was like the whole arena just couldn't. I beat the shit out of this dude, and people just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Especially being over there. I'm
Like
sure.
my teammates was like, dude, where in the fuck did you come from, bro? Like, how's you doing this shit? I was like, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So when I won the U.S. championships, then I beat the world champion in Russia, and then they said, well, we want to get you a couple more fights, and I went to Canada, to the Canada Cup, and I beat the guy who ended up winning the bronze, the silver medal. I beat the silver medalist. So I knew I could beat anyone. I knew I was ready, you know what I'm saying? So I was just waiting for the U.S., the Olympic trials.
Man, you was just out there like the Terminator. Just,
Man, I dominated
just
amateur
running
boxing.
through 'em,
I
man.
was undefeated.
Man.
I was undefeated. Now, as a junior, I had 3 losses. One of them I know I really lost.
Yeah.
Kid named Sam Mack. I was 9. He was 10. It was a 10-11 weight class. I was 9. My father lied on my age. He was too strong for me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even upset about it.
Yeah.
I said, this dude's just too big and strong. But I lost that fight. My other 2 fights, I fought a kid at Ohio State. I won the fight, but they didn't give it to me. And then my last fight, I was beating this guy. I was beating the guy easy.
Yeah.
And I went down for a jab to the body. He hit me in the back of the head. Ooh. And I went down, took a knee. I went down. I got back up. And the referee just stopped the fight. He ain't counting out. I'm like, what's going on? And the guy who I was supposed to fight in the championship was like, man, I'm sorry about what happened, but I'm glad I ain't got to fight you.
Man.
So that just let you know. So
Yeah.
So that was just the little time. So, but when I came back as a grown man, nobody beat me. I had 3 losses.
Yeah.
2 to Jeremy Williams and 1 to the towards the main Olympics. I won all 3 of those fights.
Yeah.
They know I didn't lose those fights. So,
That's dope, man.
but I mean, it's dope. But it's also kind of hurtful too, because for the way I came up in boxing and how fast I got on the scene. My lawyer Mitchell Stein was calling me like, man, he said Hollywood calling every day. They want to do a movie about your life.
Really?
I'm 21 years old. My lawyer said, man, just keep winning, man. Like Hollywood called me every day, and then I fought the German Torsten in the quarterfinals, and I beat the shit out of him. Yeah. I cut him open. I cut his eye open. I beat the shit out of him, and then they took 3 points from me. Said my head was low, but I'm 5'7". He was 6'5". The fight was just terrible, man. It was just, to this day, I never been able to get over it, because I know I should be a gold medalist.
Yeah.
And it bothers me.
Nah, it should, man. You work that hard and
I dominated amateur boxing.
Dominating.
The kid was 6'5".
Yeah.
Oh, the world champ, and I beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I beat the shit out of him.
Just flat out.
Yeah, I beat the shit out of him. Cut his eye open. No amateur fight in history you have ever seen carry on as the guy was cut.
Yeah.
Now you can't name one except for mine.
Wow.
And that's my gold medal.
Wow. Man, so coming up in the ranks, you pro now. For some of these guys who've been sleeping under a rock for a long time, man, give us a few of your notable fights, as a pro or professional.
Well, when I made the Olympic team, I know a lot of guys stuck around and stayed amateur. I made the Olympic team. I said, man, I said, even though I only boxed amateur a year and a half. I said, man, if I could do this, I said, if I made the team, I'm probably good enough to turn pro.
Yeah.
And then while I was thinking about it, I got a phone call, and it was Jackie Callan. She said, James Tony, want to manage you.
Okay.
Had me fly out to Michigan. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, this might be cool. I thought it was a good situation, and a lot of guys was like, man, James an asshole, bro. He cursed people out, treat them like shit, and so I'm like, man, okay, well, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I just wasn't really worried about that, and so I went to the gym, and Bill Miller, Pops Miller wanted me. I sparred Booker T. Word, who had just knocked out Anthony Hendrick, and I kind of had it easy with him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I did what I dominated the sparring.
Yeah.
And Bill Miller's like, man, you looking good, champ. The next day I sparred Dennis Andres, who was former light heavyweight champion of the world, and I had my way with him. You know what I'm saying? And James was like, man, champ, you running the gym. So I could tell, he respected me and everything. And Bill Miller was like, man, we sparring James tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And the way he said it to me, first of all, to be an athlete, you got to be an asshole.
Absolutely.
And you got to be a competitor.
Yes.
The way he said it, I took it. This dude was a middleweight champ, two-time middleweight, but the way he said it was like I wasn't shit. Yeah. So, okay, well, you look good, but we sparring James tomorrow. Like why shit gonna be different? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying to myself. That's the confidence I had in myself.
Yes, sir. Indeed.
So I sparred James. It was tit for tat. He didn't do shit to me. I didn't do shit to him, but he couldn't do shit to me.
Right.
He was the champ. I was an amateur.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, it's like I'm sparring a mirror myself. So after that, I said, man, I'm ready. I'm ready for this shit. And I end up what he offered me, I didn't think it was enough. I went home and we stopped talking after that. That's why we ended up fighting. But I went home and I got a call to go up to Duva's camp, and I went there and I put on the show. Yeah. And so people just talk was going around, so I was pretty cool. So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna turn pro. So I turned pro, and like I said, I only boxed amateur a year and a half. Chris Bird, it was all ego shit. Chris Bird turned pro, and he fought 6 rounds instead of 4 rounds. Mm-hmm. I said, fuck, I gotta do it. Yeah. So when I turned pro, I fought 6 rounds straight. So things was going good. When I got to my 6th fight, I fought a kid named I remember his name, but he was like a top amateur. He was like one of the top guys, and I knew it was a big test. And Katie King, I fought Katie King, and it was supposed to be a big test for me and everything. And I went in there and I dominated. Yeah. So I won the fight easy, and then I had 6 fights, so I kept going, and I was like, man, I'm good. And I got into the Budweiser Championship at the Forum, the Budweiser Forum Championship, and I actually, the first fight I was fighting a kid who had fought for the world title, so he had a lot of experience and everything. I think his name in a minute, but my son was being born.
Okay.
So I'm trying to wait around. I'm training at home, but it ain't like in camp.
Right.
They like, man, when you got something, I'll be out there as soon as I can. My son was born, boom. I packed up and moved to Vegas and trained. I literally left to go to Vegas and train for the fight. I won the fight, but I didn't dominate like I should. I got tired. I hurt him and tried to get him out of there, and he an old pro. He ended up making it past it. So I was a little tired, but I won the fight. I wasn't happy with my performance, but you know what I'm saying? You had to do what you had to do. So I fought. My next fight was a kid named Ray Lathan. He was 14-0 with 13 knockouts, and this motherfucker was destroying people. Like, he hitting them, and it was like I just couldn't believe the shit. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just give you an example. I'm in the gym. I'm at top rank in Vegas, and I don't know because I wasn't fighting, so I don't know the guys from '88, the Olympic team and everything, the trial. So that was like Carl Daniels. He fought for a world title. He fought shit, I think his name anyway. But anyway, I was with Mustafa Muhammad, who was a lightweight champion of the world, and I asked Carl Dan, like, what you think? He said, Ray gonna knock you out. You know what I'm saying? People like, if Ray hits you, he gonna knock you out. That's just everybody was saying in the gym. All right, well, we gonna see. So I took the fight. We went to the fight, and the motherfucker hit me in the first round on top of the head.
Oh.
Man, and this shit was like, I'm like, I ain't never got hit like this in my life. I'm like, this shit ain't even real. Like, how the fuck this motherfucker hit this hard?
Yeah. That's wild.
And I said, God damn. I said, ain't no way in hell we could do 12 rounds like this. I said, I gotta knock this motherfucker out. And I had never said it in my career. I said, I gotta knock this motherfucker out.
Get him out of there.
I said, he punched too hard. And I picked up my game. I went forward. I caught him and dropped him. And I had him out, and
he
got up at the count of 10. The bell rung. He was out, but they let it slide.
Yeah.
And so I was in control. I felt good and everything. I got a little big headed, and he dropped me. And after that, I woke up and just took control of the fight. And after that fight, when I got hit, and I said, man, if I could take this power, I could fight anybody.
Yeah.
And I got hurt. I knew I could take a punch. I got hurt and recovered and everything. So I was ready for anybody then. So I was sitting in the house one day, and my manager called. He said, he said, can you beat James Toney? And the first thing, before I just said yeah, I thought to myself, I said I sparred him in '92. I was an amateur.
Now, what year was this?
This is 95. Just 3 years later, I know I got better.
Yeah.
I was like, I know he ain't got no better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The real talk. I mean, he's a two-time world champion. He hit his apex. He's not gonna get no better than that. So I took the fight, and my manager was like, man, do you think you could beat him? I said, yeah. He said, we can take the fight. I said, what's going on? He said, well, he says $60,000 on the table. I said, well, tell him give me 100 and I'll take it. And he called me back in 10 minutes and said, okay. And I said, damn, I should have said more. Because they accepted it so fast. So
275.
So, you know what I'm saying? So I just get in that fight and going to camp. I went to camp with Riddick Bowe in Palm Springs. And just learning, you know what I'm saying, being around the big dogs and all that, and just seeing that, you know what I'm saying, it's my time. And I took the fight, and I just remember we was heading back to Vegas, getting ready to fight, and coming down that hill, I'm like, man, it's on.
Yeah.
I was seeing them lights and everything. I had a good camp and everything. I'm like, man, it's on. And took the fight and took care of my business. I had 14 pro fights. So that's what I'm trying to explain to people. I boxed a year and a half. I didn't box for 8 years. Only boxed 3 years as a kid. I boxed a year and a half an amateur. I went to the Olympics. I beat 2 world champions. I beat the silver medalists. And I turned pro and beat a Hall of Famer with 14 pro fights. Ain't nobody did that shit ever in history. And I don't give a fuck what you say. George Foreman and Deontay Wilder, they made the Olympic team with less amateur fights than me. But as far as pro, they took 28, 29 fights before they had to. I had my first big fight with 14 pro fights. Ain't nobody ever did that in life. And I boxed for 4 years. And I made the Olympic team and beat a Hall of Famer. Nobody can say they did that. Nobody.
Man.
Nobody can say they did that. In boxing history, how long boxing been going on, ain't nobody did that.
Man.
And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Nice, man. That's amazing, man. Just to kind of
4 years of boxing,
just
man.
In that short span
4
of
years.
time.
I was 92. I made the Olympic team in 90. I was homeless in 92 and 95. I was living pretty good.
Yeah.
That was 3 years. You know what I'm saying? My life just changed drastically. You know what I'm saying? I just kept my foot, on the gas and kept doing what I was doing.
Gotcha. So how did the Roy Jones fight come about? How did that take?
Well, him and Roy James, it was only a year, but it was like 2 years because I fought like January, February of 95 and like December 96. So it was basically like 2 years, but it was only 1 year.
Okay.
And we both had 10 fights, and because I wasn't marketable, and I think what happened with me in boxing was the stuff I did, I made it look so easy that they took it for granted and just didn't give me no respect for it. Just like well, he's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I never got the love. I never got the marketing and all that behind me. So basically, even though I beat James Toney, they was Hollywood. I mean HBO. They're trying to put together a fight with Roy and James again.
Okay.
So when me and James fought, they like this. So James, after you beat Montell, you gonna fight Roy. So it was already scheduled out. So you know what I'm saying? I put a stop in that. You know what I'm saying?
Crash that parade.
Right. I get a call from my lawyer. He said, man, HBO want to do a rematch with James. It says $1 million on the table. He gets $750, you get $250. I said, man, I beat that, man. I said, I'm not taking no fucking $250. Y'all crazy. And I hung up. And he called me back 10 minutes later and said, okay, you got 500 apiece. And I was like, shit, I should have told him $750. But James, he was the HBO fighter anyway.
Right.
So
yeah.
he wasn't going to get the less. But, you know what I'm saying? At least I went. You know what I'm saying? I negotiated my own purses.
Okay.
Whereas, you know what I'm saying? I helped myself out. So I got the 500 and I beat him even easier the second time. Unanimous decision. Roy Jones on TV saying I lost him. I started laughing. I said, because you don't want to fight me. But so I remember I was in Yorktown Mall with my wife and I got a call from my manager like, man, it's time for Roy Jones. I was like, how much? That's all I wanted to know because I knew it was gonna be a nice piece of change.
Yeah.
He said $850, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm like, man, I'm making it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm 27 years old. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? And things went so, like I said, things went so fast in my life from 91 to 97. It was just it was just like a blur.
Yeah.
So we got the fight and we took it and shit, went to camp and got ready. And I didn't have no problem. At the press conference, my father had died in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And at the press conference, I said, I'm guaranteeing y'all that I'm taking this belt home. I said, my father died here, and I'm taking this belt home for my father. And the belt is in my gym right now.
Nice.
So, you know what I'm saying? Things didn't go the way I wanted to. I was beating the man fair and square.
Yeah.
I was beating him fair and square. But I was getting a little tired, it was the 9th round. I was really trying to rest up, catch my second win for the 10 through 12 round. And so everything was going good. He threw a right hand. It was so fast. He fast. So it was like, am I going to slip it or block it? And I tried to turn and ended up getting hit in the back of the head, and I was just dizzy. So I just told myself, I knew of everything that was going on. I said, look, man, you ain't hurt. Just keep moving. And I said, man, let's take a knee. I said, you winning this fight. Let's take a knee. And then we just see what happened the last 3 rounds. So I took a knee, and as I looked up, I'm looking for the referee. I feel the man hit me. I'm like, what's going on? Then he hit me again. And I was just gone, man. You got idiots out here saying I was faking. I'm like, so you could? I said, let me walk up to you and hit you when you ain't expecting to see what's gonna happen.
Right.
Wait,
So-
faking just taking hits?
People said I was faking.
Man.
When Roy Jones was dirty and hit me twice on my knee. I thank God that I didn't get hurt and I didn't get knocked out
that could've been-
unconscious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I might not never been right after that. So, I mean, it's just dirty, but it's part of the game, man. It's just boxing is full of corruption, man.
Man, it seemed like through this short span, like I said, man, you didn't seen it all. You've been dominant. You've been through a lot in the short span. You fought some good guys. You speak on like boxing, the politics of it. Do you think because I watch a lot of boxing and I see some guys who should be out there with some guys who shouldn't. I see how certain decisions I made, like just say like with Turkey and then United States and these guys fighting over here, fighting over there. Is the politics worse now than it was coming up in your era?
It never changed. It's been
never
corrupt.
changed.
It's been dirty. I just give you an example. Tank getting ready for Roach, and I'm hearing that Tank. I was in Tennessee with my man Bon Alexander. We went up there and shocked the world, but they called it a draw. He beat the boy, but he was like, man, Calvin and Kenny Ellis was in Tennessee. So my man was like, you like Tank in DC with I forgot the name of the coach, but Barry, Barry, whatever Barry last name. He was like, man, Tank and DC with Barry, like I don't know what's going on. I'm like, for real? I'm like, why he ain't with his trainer? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So I knew, I'm like, man, something ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Roach was a plus 900. I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to bet on him just in case and everything. And we watched the fight. And after the bell run, my son was like, man, you just came up. I said, man, they not going to get that man a decision.
Right.
And I told him right after the back before they even said, I said, man, he not going to win this fight. And they called it a draw, man. Tank is, he worth too much money in boxing, man. He said he sold out every arena. He sold out in Atlanta. He sold out in L.A. He sold everywhere he go.
Yeah.
He a big, big thing in boxing, man. It's not good, but it's part of the game. It's life.
Yeah.
It's just a dirty game, and like I was talking to John Scully earlier today, and we was talking about my friend Melvin Foster lost a fight on a crazy technicality, and we was just like, man, we used to shit being, we used to corruption. Like if we see a fight, we know this guy won, but since he the bigger champion. If he either gonna get the decision, it's gonna be a draw, and we gonna be cool with it. It's just that's we used to it now.
Yeah.
And and the sad thing about it is boxing is unorganized. That's why we don't make the money as NBA players, and they those sports are organized. They got a commissioner.
Yeah.
They got what you get after you retire. You get a pension.
You get a pension.
You get everything is set up. Boxing is not like this. Every man for himself.
Yeah.
These promoters they out here, they try to make as much money as they can, and they use fighters like meat, and they take you, use you up, make as much money off of you, and kick you to the curb, and that's just how it goes over and over and over. Just that's the line of boxing. You got like maybe 10 guys who made 200-400 million where they could just live a normal life for the rest of their life, but it's a million boxers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. From your knowledge or just kind of being around, has anyone ever like tried to step in and try to like, will this thing in? Like you said, it's a commission in like basketball and football. Has anybody ever tried to like get this organized?
Well, right now they got the Sheik over there. He trying to get the game straightened out and try to do it right and everything. I hope the best for him. I mean, these guys making way more money than us, so can't be mad at them and everything. I remember hearing the old haters when I was a kid, like, man, I wish I was playing now instead of, and now I understand what they saying. Ryan Garcia made $30 million. I said, man, they got it made. They got it made. Ain't no hate though. Ain't no hating. It's just it is what it is. I'm sure at my time when I was making up my little money, it was guys from the 50s and 60s, which they had made the money I made. So it's just life. It's evolution. It's just keep going on, and nothing you can do about it. So, boxing is a great place right now. I would like to see more guys fight each other, but we had Berta Beer fight B-Ball, which was huge, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. Earl finally fought Bud. You know what I'm saying, but I think it was a little too late for him. But some guys is fighting each other. Maybe more people want to see better fights, but the boxing is good hands right now. I'm cool with the game.
So what about Benavidez against Bivol? I know people want to see that fight.
I don't think I don't see Bivol having a problem with Benavidez because he a boxer and mover. To me, the better fight would be Benavidez and Better Biel because they're gonna stand right in front of. And
But
beat the
I
shit
don't
out
know
of each other.
if Benavidez can handle that power from.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the better fight because those are two fighters who are gonna stand right in front of each other. Bivol gonna box and make it technical and everything.
Right.
And I don't. Right now, I'm not taking nothing against Benavidez, but right now I can't say he better than Better Biel.
Right.
So if he fight Bivol, I don't think there's nothing in his style that's gonna give Bivol no problem.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's just my opinion because Bivol is a skilled guy who can move and use his legs.
So what about Bud? Moving up to 168. You think he should have like a tune-up fight? At the weight.
No, he can't have a tune-up fight because if he look bad, then he's gonna lose the fight. His last fight, he fought a junior middleweight. He kind of struggled a little bit, so he can't have another fight where he don't look 100%, or the fight it'll never sell. So if Canelo and him do sell, it'll be some fun to watch.
What do you think the
I just
outcome
see what-
gonna be?
I just say
What do you
like
think
this.
the outcome gonna
I'll
be?
put it to you like this, man.
That makes sense. That makes sense. what you just
Canelo
said.
right now is comfortable at 168.
Right.
he blowing guys out. He beating them up. He got his punching game and everything. Cool. If Bud beat him, he the greatest fighter ever. That's all I can say.
I don't know, man.
Would
I
he be
just
too
can't.
heavy though? His movement.
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
know?
But another thing people gotta understand, Bud is going on 38 years old.
Right.
If you go from 54 to 68, that's 14 pounds he got to put on to slow his body. The people gonna say that he can outbox Canelo, but can he outbox him for 8, 9, 10 rounds? He carrying all that weight
Right.
at 38 years
Yeah,
old. He's slowing down, and it's nothing disrespect. Yeah. Disrespect. I'm just going by what I saw against Madronov.
Yeah.
He got hit more than I ever seen him get hit.
Yes.
And Madronov, he didn't look good his last fight, but against Bud, he looked good. Mm-hmm. He moved, he boxed, you know what I'm saying? He gave Bud some problems, but I just, right now I think Bud probably could make $100 million for this fight and probably retire. I think that's what he's looking at. Yeah. If he lose to Canelo, who's that big, he gonna say, "Well, I should have lost. I'm too small." He gonna
$100 million later.
Right, with $100 million, walk off in the sunset. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that.
No
It's
doubt.
business.
So I got a question. You mentioned the word evolution. We're sitting here right now and got the Lakers on. Watch the game a little bit as well. Different eras. Okay, taking fighters from one era and matching them up with fighters in the current eras. How do you feel about that? That's one question. Mm-hmm. And the second is the evolution of sport. That's what you brought up. Is there things that's advanced in boxing from like the start to now?
Of course. I mean, you just look at the training is totally different.
Right.
The training is high level. The sparring is high level. Evolution. It's a thing, man. People get better as years go. I like to say, if you compare if you got a 30-year time frame in between, people gonna be better. I retired 2011. I was watching Keyshawn Davis in the gym.
He nice too.
You like him?
Keyshawn nice.
And he did something that I couldn't do, or something I had never did, and I tried to ignore it. Later on, I said, "You couldn't do that." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, you couldn't do that. Okay. I'm like, man, they better. You know what I'm saying? That's one day. That's when I woke up and said, man, they better than us. So I don't have no problem. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk on Facebook and stuff about NBA and man, they better now, man. It's life, man. It got nothing. We don't have none of this. God, get mad at God. You know what I'm saying? Nobody in the 90s. Okay, this is what I always tell people to shut them up. I said, could the 60 Celtics beat the 90s Bulls? No, hell no. Okay, then what make you think the 90s Bulls gonna be a team 30 years later, and they can't shoot with them?
Yeah, if you look at
evolution, man.
If you look at it, like just say the normal athlete now, and just say he's not even the best player, but just say we take somebody like just say Zach LaVine, right? And his athleticism and how he can move. You put him in like the 60s or 70s with how he moved. Now I'm not saying he like Jordan, but like it'll be hard for them guys because
I'm not gonna say he's better than Jordan, but he's a better athlete.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like that. Like you said, the evolution of things. The
Michael Jordan jumped for the free throw line.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine windmill from the free throw line. It's totally different. They better.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what. I mean, don't be upset. I mean, I know people, and they a lot of older guys. Like I see it now. Like when I was younger, you was taught to disrespect your elders and listen to what people say. But I was an asshole, so when people say stuff that wasn't right, I'm like, man, I question. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this ain't right. So I see it now. I mean, just because it's your era and you old, we try to respect. It don't mean you right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These kids, man. I'm just gonna break it down like this.
Okay.
Larry Bird, the greatest shooter people ever seen. He hit 600 threes.
Yeah.
Steph Curry got 4,000. Come on, man. It's different now, man. It's not a comparison, man.
Nah, it's not, man.
And the whole thing is people love Jordan.
Yeah.
They want to keep Jordan relevant and say great. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but people they get better, man.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? They get better, man.
Speaking of getting better, man, I want to talk to you a little bit about like women's boxing. Like
Everybody,
I
okay.
think it's
Go ahead. I was gonna say my daughter played basketball.
okay.
And in the 70s and 80s, girls played like girls.
Yeah,
Now they play like boys because they are better.
yeah.
If you watch a girl's game right now, you can't tell that they girls no more.
And that's what I would segue into and just say like the evolution of women's sports period. Like
Yeah.
last year, women's they had a good year with basketball,
Yeah.
boxing, them fights that we got,
Yeah.
man. Just period.
Caitlin Clark, she
Caitlin
put on the
Clark
show and everything. It's just
Yeah, man.
man, they better, man. It's nothing.
just
It's
better.
nothing about negative. Not saying that the guys in the '90s ain't good. They just better,
Just
man.
Just like from this, like you said,
Right,
from
they
the
better.
50s to the 60s,
Like I said,
70s. They gonna be better in the next 20 years than what these guys is now. You know.
50. I'll be 51 next week.
Yeah, 55.
Okay, okay. In 1990,
Ain't wanna say
we
that.
all in the '90s, we
55.
all watched the '60s Celtics and laughed at them.
Mm-hmm.
We all watched that black and white and we laughed at it. Man, they ain't shit. They slow. They can't jump. Whatever. The '90s was 30 years ago. It's the same shit.
No, absolutely.
LeBron, just like LeBron said the other day, said, man, a Greek freak hit 250 points in the 70s. Bro, it's just different, man. They better, man. Ain't no disrespect.
I told somebody one time, I said, that Ferrari Testarossa was really, really cool when it was about 20s. But that Bugatti right now is a little bit different.
Phones is better. Cars is better. Everything is just better. It's just life, man. But people just can't. They don't want to accept it, man. It's sad, man.
It is, man, and it's well, I don't know, man. They better accept it and keep it moving, man. Because like I said, sports and life is gonna keep growing. It's gonna keep
Man,
getting
it's gonna
better.
keep getting better, man.
You know.
One be 7'5", pushing it on the break, shooting threes. See, he gonna be his era gonna be better than LeBron in them era. It's just gonna keep.
In 10 years, about 10 years, it's gonna be like 6 more of him.
Now I
You
said
know?
in 20 years, they're gonna have to raise the rim
They're gonna have to.
because these boys gonna just be playing. It's gonna be too easy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be too easy, man.
absolutely, man.
Well,
They
yeah,
coming.
I
They
don't know if
coming.
you- I don't know if you
6'9", 6'7". I mean 7'9", 7'5", 7. You seeing it right now? College over here, kid over here. Yeah, they coming, man.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all know, but everyone's talking about Paige from the women coming in from
They was
UConn,
on earlier.
right? Then you got Juju, right?
Yeah.
It's the girl behind her. It's a Chinese girl. She's 7'5",
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
like she coming.
they
Yeah.
coming, man.
Yeah.
They coming, man. Nothing you can do about it.
Go watch that on YouTube. And she doesn't jump. She's not allowed to jump.
She's not allowed to jump.
She's not
So
allowed
they
to
doing
jump.
it like they did. My man in
Kareem.
high school, he couldn't dunk.
No,
Remember they told him,
they're not allowing her to
Kareem,
jump.
yeah,
So
Lyle
she can,
Sander back in the days.
Yeah.
no, they saying they're not allowing her to jump at the amateur level,
Why?
right? So she could protect her knees. The girl is only 17 years old.
Man,
You gotta let the kids grow. Going to it.
That's
Same
crazy.
thing as boxers letting teenagers spar grown men pros. That's terrible. None. You shouldn't do that. Them brains ain't ready yet. They not. You know, they not fully developed yet. You see, you got kids that you know they good. They better than they supposed to be. So you take a chance and put them in the ring, and they taking punishment every day.
Yeah.
But you don't know that punishment gonna add up
Yeah.
Yes.
over time. Like like I saw from 75 to 83, I saw Muhammad Ali slow down. I saw his speech, his body, his mannerisms. I saw his movement. I watched him. I was in the gym with him, and I saw him hit sparring. He let people hit him, and he felt that letting people hit him would get him ready for the fight, which is no. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Right.
No, that you getting hit, man. You get brain cells they die every punch.
Yeah.
1 million brain cells die. They not gonna recover, man. You just can't. The boxing, man, people die, man.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Growing up, being close to Muhammad Ali, and like you just said, all those years you seen him slow down.
Yeah.
Was your approach a little bit different when you got in the ring? Like, did you think more defense, or was you just like?
I ain't want to, man. I ain't want to end up like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Me and Layla talked about it. I said, bro, sis, I said, watching your father help my defense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel I wasn't the greatest defensive fighter ever, but I had 59 pro fights. I had 59 pro fights, 33 amateur fights, and I don't think if you didn't know who I was, you wouldn't have known I was a boxer.
Right.
And I'm glad of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm glad of that. Like Floyd Mayweather said something. Muhammad Ali is my man. I love him to death. He's like the greatest man to walk the earth. But Floyd Mayweather said something. It made me look at. He said he's penalized because he's not brain damaged. People say he was a runner. Nah, the name of the game is hit and not get hit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People don't understand that, man.
Man, you know how many arguments or like disagreements I've had with people about like just saying Mayweather and his style, and like you just spoke about, like who wants to go into a fight and get hit, right? Not saying you're not gonna take hits, but like he was just that good defensively and moving around his movement. Like you think, no, who finna take them? No, if I know I can do this and I don't really have to press you offensively. I can pop shot, move, duck, and do that, and you know what I'm saying? Get my way with you by winning like that. Why we're not doing it then? Break the bank.
Well, I think
We
it's
wouldn't take that for a night.
I think it's very.
It's just like I said. You just people. There's so many people that go with their heart.
Yeah.
And they think with their heart instead of their brain. You know what I'm saying? There's people die in the ring.
Yeah.
You want to get hit as less as possible. I was blessed. I was blessed good enough. Whereas I would go. I went 2, 3, 4 sparring sessions without getting hit with a clean punch.
Yeah.
I don't know if too many people can say that, but
Yeah.
I went sparring sessions without getting hit with a clean punch. And if I did get hit, it would bother me for like 2 weeks. Like, man, I can't believe I let him hit me with that shit. Because I ain't want to be affected by boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I saw my main man, I saw him decline.
Yeah.
I watched him. I went, when he got diagnosed with Parkinson's, what is Provident over there by South Lakeshore Drive? Was that Provident Hospital, old hospital?
Yeah.
We went to Provident Hospital. I told my father, I'm like, he don't look sick.
Right.
Because I'm thinking you know going to be laid up, but it was just, they knew that the Parkinson's and the shaking and all that was coming. They knew it was coming. And he got diagnosed, and like I said, it made me just look at things totally different.
No, absolutely, man. And you know, when them boys be out there, man, putting it all on the line, we just, you know, hope all is well at the end of the day. Everybody can walk home and
But people, you know, they don't take into account stuff like that. Like, man, people die. You talking about this man is a runner. Man, bro, that's what you're supposed to do.
right.
It's called defense, man.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man, for years, and people don't understand. And then I understood, like, I'm talking to people who don't really know too much about nothing. It just be like these people who just, like, interesting. I was watching LeBron on Pat McAfee the other morning.
Yes.
And he said he was coming down the elevator when they first came back to Cleveland. And 2 white guys came, and they had on the FU LeBron shirts.
Yeah.
So they getting on the elevator, he getting off, and then they was like, oh, my God, LeBron, we don't mean this. We just in the moment because of these other people. And, you know, people be in the moment. Just, you know.
But you couldn't be mad at these Cleveland fans for this man leaving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He left. He's a home kid that left. But I mean, he left for a reason. But the main thing, he came back and won. That just changed everything.
Oh yeah, man.
I think the biggest thing too, you know, he's talking about defense. You know, with you look at the '80s. That's when I started watching boxing. You know, you got Roberto Duran and, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Howard. Them guys are standing there going toe-to-toe, all right? And then that was the era that I first started watching, right?
Yeah.
Then you get Tyson, right? You know, Tyson coming around the corner, right? Then now you get to Floyd Mayweather, right? And now he's more defensive-oriented. It's very similar to, like, basketball. We watch the Bulls and watch the NBA. They running, dunking. Now it's a three-pointer.
Yeah.
Right.
Change the whole game.
Right. So it depends on when you first started watching and fell in love with it. That's what I want to see all the time. And then now, since it evolved, all right, we're like, okay, you know, I don't like that no more. You know, and that's how I think Mayweather was. Unless you really like it and you study it. Well, if you study the sport, then you recognize, you see the evolution of it.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and it's all gonna make sense to y'all. Mayweather and LeBron is in the same predicament. Muhammad Ali and Jordan is so loved.
Right.
that people just don't like him just because they too good. You know what I'm saying? Floyd, man, look, man, I've been around Floyd since he was 16 years old, man. If God made a fighter with offense, defense, and everything that you need, it'll be Floyd Mayweather.
What about Pernell Whitaker? Sweet Pea.
One thing about this is what I'm gonna say about Pernell. Like,
Man, you know he had a good defense too.
Yeah, but let me say this. Okay. Now Floyd Mayweather had Roger Mayweather, his uncle.
Yeah.
He was a puncher.
Right.
His father was defensive.
Right.
He put a mix of both of them in. This was at 130, 135. He put a mix. 35, 40. He put a mix of both of them, and he just so happened he could take a punch better than them.
Right.
And so he didn't have no weakness. He didn't have no weakness. You know what I'm saying? With Pernell Whitaker, Pernell wasn't as offensive as Floyd. He got some knockouts. He did his thing, but I think Floyd's a little bit more offensive than Pernell, and Floyd was a little bit more stronger mentally than Pernell. Like Pernell lived a bad life. Right. You know what I'm saying? In between boxing, he lived a bad life. He didn't live the life of a boxer, and that's for whatever whose fault it is. That's the part, and that's one thing. Floyd Mayweather lived right. The no drinking, no smoking, eating right and everything. He lived right. And you get more years in that. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, LeBron and Tom Brady and Floyd, they doing things the right way. And them guys weren't living like that thing back in them days. That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's a fair assessment right
That's
there.
the difference.
Yeah.
They taking care of their body, they living right. Jordan, we know Jordan the greatest we ever saw. Jordan smoked and kicked and drank and had
gamble.
fun.
You know, he loved to gamble.
All night, stand up 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? Like they laughed and they bragged. Man, he can hang out till 4, 5 in the morning and then go to practice every day. But he was killing us. He was burning a candle on both ends.
Yeah.
That's what happened. He ran out of gas at 15 years. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just living right and doing things right. That's why you get better results.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't live as good as I should live as a pro athlete. I because of my talent, my skills and talent was so good that I took it for granted.
Yeah.
And I gained weight and got fat and killed myself to make weight, and I shouldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? When I moved to Vegas, then I lived my life totally different, but I should have did that my whole career, and it made a difference.
You said about the weight. What about the rehydration clause? You know. that,
I
you know.
I don't believe in it's a word they call it, but I'm saying I don't believe in the clause, and you can't gain this weight. Whatever. We're gonna weigh in at 175. We both weigh in the same. Whatever you weigh tomorrow, that's what we're gonna fight at. I mean, it is what it is. If you could be bigger than me, whatever. But if you made the weight, you made the weight.
How do those guys rehydrate like that quick? That was a question that I've
Well,
always.
you could tell on how good a guy lost weight or made weight by how much weight he gained.
Yeah.
It's like a sponge. A sponge is hard and it's soft. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's hard and compacted.
Yeah.
As soon as you put water on it, it expands.
Right.
It's the same thing with your body. If you do it the right way, you're gonna gain it back the right way. But if you kill yourself, all you just doing it, you burning muscle and you putting all that stuff back in there to try to just be good for the fight.
Yeah.
You know what? I gotta ask this question. With the Spence and Crawford fight, you know, when they were showing Spence, you know, in his dressing room, it seemed like Spence wasn't really into it.
Spence had a car accident. We almost lost his life, man. And we're not making no excuses. I mean, it is what it is. I'm gonna break it down to you like this, man. Do y'all remember the video with Cross and Spence when they was together? I mean, Crawford and Spence.
They was
When
like
Spence
in the
had the
tunnel,
red,
and they
the
was
red
talking
jogging
about,
suit
if
on.
they ever fought.
Yeah, if they ever fought.
I remember that.
That was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And Earl was overweight.
He looked bigger.
He made weight for 6 more years. He killed his body.
Yeah, I
Killed
remember
his
that.
body. You know what I'm saying? Then, and I'm not making no excuse. It's like Bud beat him fair and square. But Bud and Bomac would say, we know the excuses y'all gonna make after the fight, because y'all know what the excuses is. Because y'all know the excuses is true. He killed himself making weight too long. He made 47 too long. Floyd Mayweather said, if I was handling Earl Spence, he wouldn't fight 47 or 54. He'll fight 60 or 68. He's just too big. I stood next to him.
Yeah.
I'm 200 pounds. I was 200 pounds, and I'm standing next to him. He was bigger than me.
Wow.
I said, how the hell you make 147? He started laughing. But your body, you can only do that for so long. Your body ain't going to be able to put up with that. And then the car accident, and then he had that tough fight with Ugas.
Yeah.
Did you know it ruined both of their career?
Yeah.
Ugas and Earl was never the same after that fight. So it's just time. And then, like I said, I ain't taking nothing away from Bud. He the best fight out right now. But the whole thing, I'm just gonna break it down because, like everything I say, I got facts to back it up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No doubt.
Right.
doubt.
I go with facts on everything.
Right.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. Earl Spence at the Ugas, because he took a punishment, said I can't make 47 no more. He's gonna fight Keith Thurman at 154. Right?
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Bud Crawford knew that he gonna have problem making 47. Hey, champ, let's put the fight together. I do the 50-50 split or whatever split you. It's 55-45. I take that because he knew he wasn't gonna be right. Him making that 147 one last time, it ended his career. And Bud knew it. That's why he got the fight. That's why he agreed to all the contract shit because man, I'm gonna get this man in the ring and he ain't gonna be himself.
Right.
He ain't gonna be himself. And what did Earl say? He said the first time he hit him, he said, "Oh shit, he can't even punch." Killing himself making that weight, you know what I'm saying? So it's just business, man. I don't knock Bud for what he's doing. It's business. He talked Earl into making 47 one more time, and he killed himself.
Man, that's tough because he
killed himself.
Like I said, like you said with the car accident, and then that punishment, and that's what I spoke about earlier. Like with Haney, like after taking some punishment from no matter what it was, a car accident or from another fighter, like mentally, are you prepared? Are you know?
Well,
Right.
and Haney's in the same situation that Cotto was in when he fought Margarito.
Oh yeah.
He took a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
He took some time off, and it took Cotto 2-3 years to get back normal. He wasn't the same. We was watching. He wasn't the same. So hopefully, this kid Haney, he been off about a year. Hopefully his body recover. But we won't know until this fight. You can go through camp and look like $1 million. When that fight come, when you make that weight and kill your body and all that, that's when the truth come out.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So
that's
what
what I'm
fights you
gonna
look to be made this year? Or what fights are you looking forward to, man? Some exciting fights.
Like man, if Bud and Canelo do it, man, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got Beterbiev, people trying to get him to fight Benavidez, but Beterbiev gave Bivol a rematch.
Yeah.
Come on, get a man his rematch.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Give him his
Make a
rematch.
trilogy, right?
Yeah, even though trilogies ruin careers, people don't understand that. Joe Frazier, Ali, Bo Holyfield, they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of them guys in all them fights never be the same. Fury and Deontay Wilder, they destroyed each other's career. They beat up each other so bad. So I mean, it's cool to get the third fight. I hope we get the third fight because Beterbiev gave the man a shot. But like I said, I would rather see Beterbiev fight Benavidez than Bivol. I just think Bivol is a machine, and you a box machine, and he another kid that I looked at and I said he might be better than me. You know what I'm saying? I watch him in the gym. I watch how he train. I put the work in. I'm like, these kids, they're getting better. And you know what I'm saying? I watch him. He's different, man.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, but it was it was amazing sitting with you, speaking with you, hearing your story, coming from where we come from. Like I said, man, we don't have that many people to look up to where we come from, and just to hear a story, and for everybody to hear your story, how you did it so quick, how you dominated. How the greatest of all time was
that was
like a family
uncle,
member,
man.
man. We appreciate this.
I was
story,
blessed,
man.
I was blessed,
man.
I had the greatest father in the world, man. He had that man in my life on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. Anybody else got something for the champ before we wrap it up, man?
It's a pleasure, seeing you again. I appreciate it, man.
It was cool. Thanks for having me out, man. We got my man Horace Glasper putting together the documentary, The Ice Life. Hopefully be out probably by summer. Hopefully I'm just trying to, man. I'm trying to get my story out there, man. I just want to. I want my flowers, man. I'm 55. I'm getting older, man.
Right.
I did shit in boxing and history, man, that just ain't never been done before, man. So, we waiting for the documentary to come out. And I got a book about my life, the Ice Life book. The link is theicelifebook.com. It just tells you a story of a kid who made a second chance for himself.
Yeah. No doubt. So we appreciate it, y'all. Check out them links from my man. And, he got some great things going. He working with the kids. He got an up-and-coming fighter who finna do some big things, y'all. So we going to give it up for my man, Montell Griffin, one time, baby.
All right.
We appreciate you, champ. We appreciate you.
Make sure you gotta hit the like button and please subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Hit that like button, baby. Let's get them likes, baby.
And also, subscribe to Talking Sports with KJ.
Yes, please do.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So, all right, y'all. We out of here from the Boxing Council. Peace out, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate y'all.
All right, peace.
No, it was good. That was good.